Okay, enough with our interface builder. Let's actually work with some code. The reason actually when you run these labels, the placeholders don't pop up like we see them here is because the simulator that we are running is not set to be in dark mode, but here we see the visual interface in dark mode. So if I am going to switch it from here, I can change it to be dark mode. You see now they pop up once I switch to a dark mode. But what we are going to do in code is just tell our iOS that we want our application always to be default in dark mode. So then these things pop up nicely. Right, so just get rid of this. This is, by the way, how you can simulate dark or light mode for your application if you want to test both of them. Let's go to our view controller here. I'm going to rename this, or what you can do, just select it, delete it. You just say move to trash, and Command N to create new Swift file, which here under iOS we have Swift file Cocoa Touch class. This is what we need, Cocoa Touch class. Click next, and I'm going to call mine welcome view controller. And subclass of UI view controller language Swift. XIB file we don't need because we are using storyboard. And let's just create this. And I'm going to create another file straight away. Again, Cocoa Touch class. Next, and this is going to be register view controller. Okay, because here we have two views and we need two view controllers to control each of them. Select the first one, make sure you select here on top, the blue highlight is around it. And then we go to the class inspector. And by default here we had the previous file view controller. I'm going to replace it with welcome view controller, and it auto completes. Just hit enter, make sure it stays there. The second one, however, since it wasn't the first view, it didn't have any class. So I'm going to just put register view controller, just hit enter and make sure it stays there. Now our views have view controllers, and we can add our user interface to our code, so we can manipulate these buttons and text views in our code. So I'm going to select first, you can say option click. All right, let's see. It doesn't open assistant editor anymore in Xcode 14. So let's just close this. And let's do the assistant. I'm going to close the left panel here. So what we need to do, let me just move this guy somewhere here. We need to do the connections. So we are first in our welcome view. I'm going to put a mark here called this IB outlets. So this helps me to navigate later easily. And this one we don't need, this we don't need, and the email text field we need. It's very important to name your labels, your UIs, what they are actually. So if you just say like email here on top for email text field, it doesn't really make any sense when you come and read your code later on. You don't know this email is just a variable, it's a label, it's a text field. So by having a text field or label or a button inside your name, it actually gives an idea for the person who reads your code what this is. So it's always good to stick with one way of writing the name of variables and constants, etc. So you know what you are dealing with when you read it after few years, or in case if you are working with other developers, so it's clear for them what each variable is. So now this is a password text field, and then we need these buttons. This one we don't actually need an outlet here, so we need just to connect an actions there. Let me just get rid of this code from here, and let's connect the buttons. I'm going to put another mark here, call this IB actions, and I can connect the buttons. So this is gonna be action instead of outlet, and this is going to be forgot password button pressed, and we have login button pressed. And for the sign up, I'm not going to add this because what we need from sign up is to take us to the other view, and the interface builder is already connected, so it does the job. We don't really need to do that. Let's switch from this view to our sign up view. You can see by default assistant editor switch to register view controller. And again, I'm going to put a mark here and put these IP outlets. Let's start from top, username. So I'm just naming the labels, the text field, sorry. Just connect this. Let's make some space here and get rid of these empty spaces. Okay, so we have the password. And we have confirm password. And the last thing is our segmented control. And this one is, let me see how I called that. I think it's gender segmented control. Yes. Gender segment outlet. Yeah. Because for this one we are going to have also an action. Okay, let's get rid of these empty lines and this code, and now we can do our actions. All right, so here we have three buttons. We have the register, we have the back button, and we have the login button. Let's start from top, the back button. And we have register. And finally, we have the login. Okay, that's all we need. We can now close our assistant editor. and I can go back to my welcome view. So let's just quickly remove these empty lines, make our code nice and tidy. And here I'm going to put another mark, call this view life cycle. And now if I select this, you can see we have these kind of titles. This is what the mark does. It separates each. So we have our outlets, we have our view lifecycle, we have our IB actions, and then we are going to put more as we move forward. The same thing here. I just remove some empty spaces, put a mark here, view lifecycle. Get rid of this code and get rid of these empty lines. All right, so we did all our connections with our UI, and from next lecture we are going to write the code, what's going to happen every time our user clicks some buttons.